take over when he's doing that. We can't move our character around, and then you're actually just performing some action. So, uh, really like the way that turned out. Hello there, and today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about taking over a character and having your code taking over the character, not allowing the user to have input and doing something dynamic on the screen. Um, that way you can add in little like mini interactions that might happen. So let's get started. So one of the things we're going to do is go back to our room, and we're actually going to put something in this room. I created a sprite for this object, and we're going to just call it a pepper. Thanks to one of our viewers, I'm going to attempt this. So we're going to make this an interactive object. It's been a while since we've done anything with this. So we're going to make it similar to our torch. So we added the parent with the action. We're going to make sure we're going to go ahead and add a create event. We'll copy both of these over here. This isn't actually going to have any speed. And in our draw event, we are going to do very similar to what we did before. Oh no, this one's just a shadow. We don't need a shadow for our object. For our event, we are going to step event. We don't need to change the depth because we did that when we created the object. We probably don't need this in our torch either. So go ahead and clean that up. All right, if we do an action, what are we going to do? So we know that the way we've coded the other one before, if we perform an action, this is going to trigger from the parent action. So what is it that we're going to do? We're not going to do inventory yet. We'll do that in another video. But we're going to just go ahead and pretend the player eats a pepper. So we're going to need to create. So right now we just had the boy. We're going to create a new object, which is the boy. I guess we'll just say that he's eating a pepper. And I went ahead and created one where he gets hot. And we'll just probably see. We'll play it at half speed and see how that looks. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to look right now. But for one of the things we can do is we are going to, in our original one, so we're going to change our instance. So what we're doing is, with our boy, we're going to change the instance of the boy. And we are going to change it to, and we're going to change it to as if he's going to eat this pepper. And then it says one of the things you can do is this perform events. We're not going to, there's nothing that this particular, and that's really if you're going to perform like the create events, which we're going to do. So we're going to say true. Let's double check the documentation of that. Whether to perform the new objects, create and destroy events. So yes, that's and that's what we want to do. Is we want to make sure we create, because we're basically in our other one we're set. We have a create event. We're not doing anything specific. in this for this object, the boy eating, he doesn't really do anything. Um, the other thing we need to go over here and do is add his. Oh, I think over here we didn't. So we need to add that to there. Set the depth. We took that out of the step. We didn't need to be executing it every time, but in this case we want to make sure we are setting it correctly. And then what's the other one we had? The boy, the pepper. Make sure we're executing the depth. We don't need to do it every time. So we're going to change our instance and perform this character play. We're going to set the image speed. And now we are going to... there's another event you can do that we're going to use. And this other, when an animation ends. So when we actually finish the animation, we could either go back to the original boy, or we could do something else. In this case, we're gonna actually do something else, but this allows you to switch it back. So the whole thing is you started this animation, the character can't do anything because this new object has no events that it's monitoring for input. So the player can't actually take over. Actually, we'll leave this out. We could either do a GML or I believe there's up here. Let's see, which one is it? Sprite. Yeah, here you go. Change instance. We can change an instance to something else. So there's two ways to do it. You can either do it through the code, or you can do it. In this case, since we aren't really doing anything here, we're just going to set it, and use this. But one of the things I'm going to do is with this player, I'm going to take over the player. So we're going to copy the player. And really, when you're adding these effects and taking over, you really want your player's look and feel and the way he moves around to be complete. You don't want to have to be adding code in different places. So in this case, I'm going to take over and duplicate this one. And I'm going to make it object boy on fire. So the create, set the depth would be the same. The variables would be the same. Actually, we don't need a lot of this stuff, so we'll probably just gut it. We don't need him interacting with anything. His running, his flipping, all that will keep the same. So in the steps, we're setting the depth because we can change where we are. So like right here, we are going to make this player running all the time. And we're not going to allow them to change direction. We're actually going to, what we're going to do is here, create. We're going to set their direction, whether it's right or left. This way we control them running right or left. So we're always going to be running, and we're going to change which direction they're going. So running, we're checking where they're going to be. So because we want to be able to, so those things we got rid of the interactions earlier, we don't need those. So we don't need to worry about them existing. So move right, left, trail, count, moving his direction. All right, let's see, move X will be the same. And what we're going to do here is see how we have the move X. What we're going to do is if he runs into the wall or runs into something in the block, he's going to switch. And we're going to do that by multiplying it by -1. And this will flip us. So the player is going to flip and run the opposite direction. And everything else will be the same. Except we're going to overwrite the way he looks. So if he's running, we know the character's going to be running. We're actually going to draw him as red. Give him a little bit of a red influence. And then, so the big thing here, what we want to do is add an alarm event. So this will be the event. When you have an alarm event, it'll kick off and it'll last for so long. So in our alarm event, in our create, we're going to set the alarm and we're going to make him run for 3 seconds. Let's see what that does. Go to the alarm. And we're going to switch him back. So we're going to say, oh, wait, I didn't do it in the wrong one. So that's my fault. No, yeah, that's right. So in this one, when the animation ends, we're going to switch. Same here with the alarm. We're just going to change our instance. We're going to change it back to the player, the boy, and we're going to say, yes, redo all your events. Because we will need things created for him as well. And an animation end. This is when he first eats the pepper. We're going to change him to be on fire. And we're going to make sure the events run. Our plain boy, when we create him, there's really nothing. We're just setting the basic. The only thing we might need to do is think about whether we're going to do that. Yeah, that's actually something we need to change. So when we're eating the pepper, we're running. We don't know what direction we'll actually be facing when we're done. So we'll need to get rid of this. We don't want. We're going to manually override our change instance. And what we're going to do is set his character direction to, and that's going to be, maybe we can do it this way. Our new character. So we're taking what we had before and reassigning it to the other. So when we change the instance, I'm assuming it's going to return similar to the crate. If not, we'll figure out something to do. So I think what we need to do now is add the pepper into the room. Put it up here. Let's see if it'll. Ooh, that's pretty large. I guess he's going to have quite the stomach ache with that one. So let's try that. We'll go run over to our house, go inside. Alright, it's not lighting up. Let's see, what am I doing wrong? Oh, we're not drawing. Similar to our torch. So in our draw event, oh. The other one I didn't pull all this stuff over, so in this case we're going to get rid of, go ahead and quit out of there. We're going to take our draw event, create it here. Collision to our interactive. Alright, so in our other, we're just gonna set our action to true. So we're interacting with ourselves. So I think that's what we want. So go in, wait, not lit, the pepper. Since we're consuming it, we don't need to worry about it being lit. All right, not set before reading. Torch. Ooh, let's see. Actually, let's make it object highlight, not interact. So if it's highlight, we do that. We got object, set my action to true. So this object has an action, and it can be set to true. All right. So there it's highlighted. Now, there you go. All right, so now we got to figure this out here. Unable to find an instance for object controller. So the boy. All right, so we're going to do it in a different way. So the boy, we saw he was running. We're going to change it back. I'm just going to search for the... We're going to find the nearest boy to this object, which will actually be the boy above, because he's created, I believe. All right, run back in the house again. So hopefully this works. It gets hot. Oh, he's running. He's not facing. That didn't work quite the way we wanted it to. Variable and... All right. So the boy itself. Get rid of that. Let's see what happens. All right. It gets hot. He's running. It's getting larger. Anything, at least it's entertaining. All right, so that's not what we want to happen. All right, so they leave me no choice but to try something different. Create. So we're going to create. So we're going to store the direction, create our person on fire, assign the direction, and then destroy our current person. Similar to what we're going to do with the pepper. Oh, not the pepper. All right, it gets hot. Oh, he's not, at least it's not running the correct direction. Oh, there he is. All right. So we need to fix the one where the boy on fire at the alarm. We're going to do exactly what we did before on the step event here. We are going to change his direction. Then make sure we can walk around. On fire. All right, so why does he... Oh. Because the pepper is still on fire. because we have no way, we did not code anything to set him back. He's on fire. He's running backwards, but that's all right. And then he's done. And now you have control over him again. So there's two things we need to figure out. One, oh, I got another character in there. So this does not know when you start what the actual direction is. Or wait. Okay, so he does. Alright, so when we eat the pepper, take the boy, get his direction, create the new boy, create its direction, and get rid of the old boy. Sounds good. Now, when we finish getting hot, take his direction, make sure let's see. I'm gonna set that to the direction we're going. All right, we're going to clamp his this. Make it so he can only go one direction. So that way, if we go beyond, let's do this. Put this up here. If we've gone beyond for some reason, it automatically sets that. This is actually a good piece of code we can apply back to the original. That's why we don't really want to make changes until we have everything set, so we don't have to set in two places. But let's try that. Make sure we are back in the house. Eat the pepper. Get hot. Stops. So really So why do we keep generating more and more? We have at least 4 of them here. So on fire, dude. This is typically why you want to use the instance change. That way you only have one sometimes, not start creating more. All right, so I think I've found the, it took me a little bit to figure this out, but so when we go from the pepper and create the object, we just set the direction and we're drawing the pepper guy based on the direction. So that's working fine. But now when we're done here, we only set the direction, which is the way we want him to go, but not the way he's facing. So we, in this case, in the original object boyfire, we need to switch this is the way he's moving, but then this has already been flipped one way or the other. So we just need to make sure that goes the same way. And the other item I had was when we create the room, you only want to, instead of having it every time you come in the room, it's creating the new person. We're just making it so it's a persistent object, and the object controller creates it. So now we're get hot, we're in the correct direction, we flip around. Let's go back out, then come back in. Now like face the right way. Gets hot, runs, goes back. So the only thing I think we need to fix is I think we're on the guy that's on fire. We're actually drawing his shadow red and not him. That makes it a little funny looking. Actually, we'll just keep shadow red too. There's no problem with that. All right, so we go back in. We eat our pepper, get hot, and then run. So we're done. So there you go. That's interacting with an object, taking over control. And because we can't take over when he's doing that, we can't move our character around, and then you're actually just performing some action. So really like the way that turned out. So until next time, good luck coding.